that I work with is just me. It's new ways to evolve. And the idea is that we are all evolving, changing our frequency every day. We're all learning new lessons and growing. And what I've always been in search of is seeking new ways to change your frequency, to change your old patterns, to make new habits in your life. And I believe that this time that we're in right now is really a good time for all of us to kind of go in that cocoon like a caterpillar and come out like a butterfly. And just like a caterpillar, we have no idea what beauty is going to come out on the other end. And I know for myself, I've got a list of projects that I've been carrying around for 20 or 30 years now of things that, oh, one day I'm going to get this album released, this book finished, this website updated, and whatever else. And I find myself in this weird place where I have no income and I have a tiny bit of savings and I'm able to actually focus on me. I've got nothing coming in, so I might as well put out. And at the same time, I'm cleaning up all sorts of crap off of me and out of my head, out of my body, out of my spirit. My body, my mind, and my spirit are all evolving and changing. And so I'm challenging myself every day, every moment. What is it that brings you happiness is really the question. What brings me joy? What am I doing? Is because I've got no other pulls right now. It's just me dealing with me. And I've got a lot of crap I've been getting rid of. I feel like layers of an onion have been peeled off of me. And what's coming out is a whole new version of myself. I feel like that caterpillar in that goo, and I'm actually having to quiet myself in my little goo and look at myself. Like, why is it that you never finished these projects? What were you afraid of? And what judgment do you have of yourself? And so, and then, my habits, my patterns, and what brings me joy. So I'm actually, oh, my little kitties here. So I'm actually working really hard to break my patterns, to create new ones. And I think we're all going through this evolution right now. And there's a guy named Buckminster Fuller. I love Buckminster Fuller. I love some of his quotes. And there's a beautiful quote that he said, I don't even know what year it was that he said this. He died in 1983. My guess is he might have said this sometime in the early 70s or mid 70s. But he was a champion for the future. He could see even back then that the future of society could be so much better than what we've had. And so all of our systems, I don't know if you've noticed, but all of the systems on the planet are kind of breaking down. If we were playing Monopoly, you'd realize that we've got this Monopoly board and one or two or three, really it's more like a few thousand people have all the money on the planet, or the majority of the money on the planet. It's crazy. There's families like the Walton family and Jeff Bezos and, Bill Gates and these guys that literally have so much money. It's they could live like 10,000 or whatever lifetimes and still not be able to spend it all. And yet they're still making money every day, hand over fist, insane quantities of money. But lately we had a $6 trillion. It was claimed to be 2 trillion, but it really is 6 trillion. Look that one up. Bailout. And where did all that money go? Where's it going? Well, you get $1,200. Big deal. Well, the money's gone to the billionaires, to the corporations, to the war people, to bailouts of all sorts, banks, Wall Street, and mostly the billionaires get all that money. We get a little bit. If you take $1,000, and you multiply it by the how many millions of people we have in the United States, it still is. That's only like $3.5 billion. Well, where's the other $6 trillion? It's going to insanity. So, I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into all that. I'm just saying that what's going on is economic disparity is one of our problems. that's gone on the planet for most everybody. And so the systems are weird. They're all based on these corporations and millionaires all running things. And if you take a look at the corporations and billionaires, our government suggested that, Walmart and Target and some of the bigger companies are all wide open. But the small guys have to close down. You got to close down your business. So we're all kind of going, what the hell? People are out of work. I live here in LA. I live in LA, and the entire entertainment business is pretty much closed. It's sad. It's freaky how empty all the roads are, and how, people are having a hard time. And the billionaires aren't having a hard time right now, and so the systems that the billionaires run, that the corporations run, like, for instance, they're trying to privatize the post office. The post office. Oh yeah, that's socialism. It's supposed to be socialism. It's supposed to. Our fire department. That's socialism. The police department. That's socialism. That's all of. That takes care of all of us. You don't, and they're trying to privatize it, just like privatizing the police department, privatizing the prisons. It's insanity. And once again, it's a handful of billionaires and corporations that own all the thing, and it's a great idea for them. And when we have billionaires running our government and in our government, like what's her name, DeVos is in charge of education. She's doesn't know what it's like to go to school and pick your kid up from school and hustle your way through. A billionaire. It's weird that we're so disconnected. We believe in these leaders that are disconnected from who we are and what we really need. And so the systems are all frying. They're all exposing themselves as being useless. So here's what the Buckminster Fuller quote is. He says, "We must do away with the absolutely suspicious notion that everybody has to earn a living. It is a fact today that 1 in 10,000 of us can make a technological breakthrough capable of supporting all of the rest. The youth of today are absolutely right in recognizing this nonsense of earning a living. We keep inventing jobs because of this false idea that somebody has to be employed at some kind of drudgery because, according to Malthusian Darwinian theory, I love that, Malthusian Darwinian theory, he must justify his right to exist. So we have inspectors of inspectors and people making instruments for the inspectors to inspect the inspectors. And the true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was that they were thinking about before somebody came along and told them that they had to earn a living. Go get a good job." So you're probably home right now, bored, and you're having to relearn how to entertain yourself and what brings you happiness. Have you started reading again? Have you started sewing again? Have you started playing board games? Have you started playing music? Have you relearned some things that previous, oh, I don't have time for that. That's kid stuff. Well, it probably is bringing you a whole level of joy, including taking walks, exercising, doing some push-ups, lifting some weights, doing the same thing with your brain, challenging yourself to think new things, to try new things creatively, mentally, take in new input. So I challenge us all to do those changes and make those changes. And what we might find is on the other end of this, when things start getting back to normal, you don't want to go back to normal. Normal isn't all it's cracked up to be. That you might find that there's some level of your own creativity and joy that loves to do something you used to love to do and bring that back around. Maybe you make some weird little cookie and some grandmother's recipe, and it's delicious and this hasn't been made for years and you can't go buy it. Maybe you start selling your cookies to the coffee shops. I don't know. You know, maybe you play the new music. Maybe you start talking. Maybe you write a book that you've always wanted to write, or a children's book. You know, maybe there's some new invention that you've got in your head, or a new company. So I really, really challenge all of us to step up to that. And at the same time that you start to step up and unravel those old patterns, you start to unravel all the reasons behind those patterns, like the emotional reasons. Could be, that talk of, what your dad told you, what your mom told you, and, oh, that's why I have to act that way. And that starts to fade away. And you start to realize what really makes you happy will become a better success. So I've got a huge quantity of friends that are out of work right now. And they're all a little freaked out. They're all a little unstable. And they're also really challenging themselves. I know myself, I dusted off recordings and songs that I had made from years ago. And I started sending them to friends because, they're great musicians sitting around and they're literally bored. And so when I send them something old for me, but new for them, then they put their juice on it. And suddenly I've got new recordings, new amazing energy coming. And it's inspiring me to step up to some of my fears, my own fear. I've helped people become better artists and better singers. I'm a record producer and a filmmaker. So I help other people all the time, but I don't help myself. I've never said, well, I want to be a singer, because I don't. But I have songs in my head, and that might actually fit my voice. So who knows? Maybe soon you'll hear some little thing where my voice is doing something on it. And that's the last thing. I haven't really gotten there. So here we go. We have to change. We have to step up and alter ourselves. That Buckminster Fuller quote is really that you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you have to build a new model that makes the old one obsolete. That was another Buckminster Fuller quote. And what he means by that is the same crazy people that got us into the problems and created all the problems for us are not the ones that we need to be relying on to get us out of these problems, right? So many people in politics talks about socialism, it's bad, it's bad. Well, we're finding out that if we would have listened to some of our other politicians that even our corporate-owned news media was making fun of, we would have universal health care. There's 33 of the richest countries in the entire world. Look this one up. 33 of the richest countries in the world. There's only one that does not have health care. It's us, United States. So 32 out of 33 of the richest countries could do it and take care of their people. And they make it so that they don't go bankrupt if they go to the hospital. But we don't. Take your house. Oh, you incurred. I have got a friend who in the last week was in the hospital. Over $22,000 worth of help is what he needs. That was the bill that was handed to him. Here's your $22,000 bill. He doesn't have it. So they're going to take care of something from his house or whatever. It's like, and he's worried. And none of those other countries, those other 32 countries, do they do that? Only here in this greedy capitalistic thing. So, well, what's wrong with a billionaire? What's wrong with capitalism? Well, listen to me. What's wrong with it is they're getting 80% of the bailouts. Like the bailouts that happened in 2008 and the bailouts happening now, they get like 80 or 90% of all that money. It doesn't trickle down, by the way. That whole Ronald Reagan trickle down thing, it's not working. It's not working for anybody. And so we, the people, have to come together. We have to unify. And it's not just one party or just the other. Here's what they do. Those corporations and the billionaires own the media. They own all this media. And the media knows that the Roman battle plan of divide and conquer is how you get things done. you divide everybody, and then they're so busy fighting back and forth against each other that they don't even look up and look at the billionaires and the corporations and the news media. So look this one up. Operation Mockingbird, and just said that basically our government was into the mind control and in propaganda, using the news to do that. And look this one up. Another one. Under Obama, like 2008 or 9, he made it so that you could literally lie in the media. And I think the case actually went back to 2003, saying that there was some lawsuit, and I think our Supreme Court said that you're welcome to lie. And then it signed into law, the news media did not have to offer any truth. They could lie. It totally make up lies. So now those two parties used to have some level of semblance of reasonable truth to them. Now they just do sound bites, and they do such little lies, and they reframe everything that it's spun so much that these guys hate these guys and these guys hate these guys back and forth so much that no one's looking at the billionaires who own the media, the corporations that own the media. The same corporations and billionaires own the food system. They own the education system, including all the colleges and universities. They donate to both parties in politicians. They own the politicians. They own the banks. They own Wall Street. And it's follow the money. It's like, it's sick. I think in 2016, there were like 60 people on the planet that were all billionaires, that together their money was the same as half of all the people on the planet put together. 60. And I think now it's more like 30. So it's crazy. It's going the wrong way. And so socialism is bringing that money not to the billionaires and giving billionaires tax breaks and loopholes, but instead helping we the people. So we have a tax code. And it's like, I don't know, 14,000 pages or something insane. Look that one up, please. It's a lot of pages, the tax code. And when you take a look at that tax code, who wrote that tax code? Did you and I? No. Who wrote that are the billionaires, the corporations, not we the people. Put this in the law. So who's responsible for knowing all that 14,000 or whatever quantity pages it is? You and me. I'm supposed to know all of that. There's no accountant on the planet that knows all those 14,000 pages inside and out. So the whole thing's weird. So banking, same thing. Fractional reserve banking. Look that one up. So here's something I talk about all the time. Ultimately, what we want to get to is we want to get to this place of love. We want to get this place of unifying, of all of us coming together and joining up and believing in each other, and stop believing in our leaders that are billionaires, but believing in each other and taking care of each other and doing what's right for all. All right. So we had this thing for 2,000 years where we were in this age of Pisces. And Pisces is, if you look at the stars and the astrology, it seems like sounds stupid, right? Well, if you really follow it, when there's a full moon, people act different. When the astrology is right, people act different. And the astrology for now, this time, now, is crazy. Type in astrology on YouTube and you'll probably find a bunch of guys saying, whoa, we're in a consciousness shift. We are here. We are present right now for a consciousness shift. Everything is lining up. The planets are. And your emotions go with those planets. They actually change. And the frequency, the vibration changes. So when the vibration changes, it's like the key of the song changes. And it's starting to open our hearts, getting out of our head. So Pisces, we were in this Piscean age for 2,000 years, so like 2,100 years or something. Anyway, for over 2,000 years, we're in Pisces. And Pisces is a fish. One fish right side up, the other fish upside down. And with Pisces, it was about judgment. Remember Jesus? You've heard of him. Jesus said, don't judge. That was his message. Don't judge. He said, love one another. What do we do for 2,000 years? War, judging, you're bad, you're a different color than me. You're a different country, whatever. Bang, 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 you're a different religion. Bang, bang, bang. We've been doing that for 2,000 years. It's not working. War is obsolete. Love is the replacement for it. But how do you get there? How do you get there? Well, you start seeing in everyone's eyes that you're the same. So, that little dude in, pick a country or town, Baghdad, that little dude in Baghdad that's got a little house, that's been on that property, Baghdad. Remember, that's in the Bible. So that little house or that little land has been in the family for 2,000 years or something. And he's a baker, and this guy's just a baker. And he's got his family of kids and all his neighbors, and he knows everybody. And he makes bread for the people in Baghdad. And all he wants to do is he wants his kids to be safe. He wants them to be educated. He wants them to carry on and learn new things and to share what his wisdom is with other people. He wants people to learn and grow and come together. He wants to dance to their certain music that they love. He wants to share beautiful food and have community. I mean, this is what we all want. We all want the same thing. We want a job that brings us some level of joy and service. We want some level of community and connection. We want education. We want to leave something behind. This is what everybody on the planet wants. So why do we hate them? Why do we hate anybody from any country? Everybody's trying to do something good, has their community and whatever. And when they can see everyone and we can see everyone, that we're all equal, that we're all doing the same thing, we all have unique abilities. I don't know if you've gone to a larger city to area like Chinatown or, little Tokyo or whatever in different cities. And the whole place is immersed in some amazing culture. And inside of our, United States culture is this other immersion culture. And everybody is just doing this amazing thing and exposing new truth. And that new truth to me is all beautiful. Everybody's got their culture, their thing they like to do. Just like music. I don't like polka music, but there are people that love polka music. There's some other styles of music I just can't stand. But who's to say that healing music has to sound all electronic and airy, fairy, spacey? You could get healed by reggae music. You could get healed by blues music. You could get healed by polka music. Who's to say? Who's to say what food is better? Oh, Indian food, that's bad, or Thai food, that's bad. I love it all. And so the more we learn about different other religions, the more we learn about different foods, different cultures, the more you start to see in each other's eyes the same people. And when you can really look at everyone as an equal and someone to learn lessons from, and I mean everyone. I don't mean just the adults. I mean the kids. Kids will teach you lessons. I don't know if any of you have kids. They'll teach you some lessons. You're probably learning some new lessons here. It's been a month of hanging at home, and you're probably learning new lessons and growing. And they're teaching you that you have your own patterns from your childhood and that you've carried over. Oh, my dad used to do this, so it's good for me to do that. No, it didn't work. Your dad doing it to you made you feel bad. Stop doing it to your son or your daughter or whatever. Cut it out. And so we could all evolve and change and grow. And you can look, a little baby can teach you lessons, patience. A cat, a dog can teach you lessons, on how to communicate, how to love and kindness, unconditional love. If you have a dog, dogs wake up every morning going, hey, party time. It's a great day. Let's go outside. Woo, party. Right? So, it's like, why can't we do it? Instead, we wake up with that little thing in our head stressed out, right? Ugh. So all of our culture, everybody's getting a new version of looking inside of here, looking inside of our systems, our banking system, money itself, fractional reserve banking, the Ponzi scheme of all that, the World Bank, Rothschild World Bank, and blah, blah, blah. Basically, money is one of our issues because it's built on a Ponzi scheme. And another one is ecology, that we're destroying Mother Nature. We treat Mother Nature as if it's huge. It's like there's no, like it's infinite. And we can just go ahead and drag an 11-mile-long net behind a huge boat and just grab all the fish we can, drag it in, and throw crap overboard and cut things up and kill everything. And that's okay. Well, nature doesn't do that. So if you look at a herd of buffalo or a herd of whatever, and there's an animal stalking that herd, do they pick the strongest one in the herd, or do they go kill the whole herd and blow a grenade up in the middle of it? No. They grab the weakest one, the slowest one, the oldest one, and that's the one they kill. The thinning of the herd goes with the one that can't keep up. And then the herd actually stays stronger and faster and whatever else. That's part of evolution, right? So we think it's okay to go out in this open ocean and drag an 11-mile net. Don't pay anything for those fish, or do the same thing with oil. You can do this in Colorado. You can build an oil rig within 200 feet of someone's house. Huge oil rig, like 7 stories tall, drill and frack with these nasty chemicals, 200 feet from somebody's house. It's legal. Suck out all this natural gas, which is explosive, and has been known to blow people's houses up because it seeps in their basement and blows them up. You can do this 200 feet from your house now, today. Pennsylvania, northern Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, on and on. My brother-in-law said in Pennsylvania, they had an earthquake last week. An earthquake in Pennsylvania. Guess what caused the earthquake? Duh, fracking. Yeah, messing with the Earth's plates. Come on, you don't do that. All for money. So we're doing all this. We're treating ecology like it's infinite. Well, what if we find that oil that we've been burning in our cars in whatever, in another 50 years was the most valuable thing on the planet, that we, instead of burning in our cars, it would have helped us in other ways. We burned it in our cars, idiots. And so it's a funny world. If you take a look at nature over the last month, LA, super clean air now. It's fantastic, and other cities, even China, super clean air now. It's amazing. So, we can't do that. Well, we're doing it now. We're doing it now. And so we have to rethink all of our systems. So I told you about war. I told you about money. I told you about the nature. And then really, I told you also about personal preferences, which is hatred. You hate because of, isms, like my religion's better than yours, my God's better than yours, my sexual preference is better than yours, so I should hate you because you're not like me. Your skin color is different than mine, so I should hate you, or your country's different, I should hate you. That's all isms, racism, religion, whatever. And so those are the 4 world problems: ecology, economy, war, and isms. Ecology, economy, war, and isms. Ecology, economy, war, and isms. Personal preferences. So what causes all those? What causes those problems? Ignorance causes all of them. Greed causes all of them. Fear, we have to do something about it. Fear causes all of them. Lack, And then these patterns of old, or these powers of old. Well, this is the way we've always done things. That's BS. That's crap. It's not the way we've always done things. And it's not going to be. And this is why we're changing things. So ignorance, greed, fears, and then these patterns of old. Ignorance, greed, fears, and patterns of old. That's what caused these problems. Ignorance, greed, fears, and powers of old. So what fixes ignorance? Well, education, knowledge, listening, talking, communicating, taking time, understanding, love. You got to be passionate to learn something. You can't just go, oh, yeah, I watched the 3-minute video and now I know how to be a master chef. No, you got to do the work to be the master chef. Oh, yeah, I watched a 3-minute video on how to play guitar and now I'm better than Eric Clapton. No. you got to put some passion into it, some love into it. You know, you can change, but you got to do the work, and there's your love. You know, so you got to learn. You got to educate yourself. So with that, I question everything. I doubt my own thoughts. I doubt what I think today isn't necessarily going to be obsolete soon. You know, Muhammad Ali said, the boxer, said, if you think the same at the age of 50 as you did at the age of 20, you just wasted 30 years of your life. Just wasted 30 years of your life. So if you're still thinking the same way you did in high school, you got some time now to rethink this. You know, I'm red, I'm blue. Ooh, I hate those red guys. I hate those blue guys. Look up. It might be the billionaires you really hate, and not the billionaires from just the one side or the other. It's the same billionaires. I mean, look at Donald Trump himself. He wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. He was giving money to both for most of his career. And most of the billionaires do. They want to own both parties. Supposedly, if you own all the horses in the horse race, you're not going to lose. So that's what happens. So ignorance, greed, fears, and the powers of old. So greed, what the hell's greed? Well, if I went and bought 6 trillion things of toilet paper, you'd think I was crazy. If I stacked up toilet paper everywhere, you'd think I was crazy. Well, a millionaire, you know, we've all had these goals. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. Well, $1 million barely buys a crappy house in LA these days. Everyone is a millionaire in LA, you know, or at least they've got that much assets somewhere, or they have that much debt, $1 million in debt. But anyway, whatever that is, $1 million times 1,000 millionaires equals 1 billion. And we had at least three political candidates, Trump, Tom Steyer, and Bloomberg. All three are billionaires. And so if I gathered money thousands of times more than I possibly could spend, if I gathered toilet paper thousands of times that I could possibly use, you'd think I was crazy. You'd put me into a mental health ward for hoarding, you know, toilet paper or whatever I was hoarding, you know. But when it comes to money, hoarding money, we worship those guys. The Bill Gates, what's he know? He was a dropout, you know. Oh, he's a good businessman. No, he's. Let's not go into that. It's just we put so much energy into things that are distractions. And those same billionaires own the media. So they make it crystal clear that, oh, the billionaires are the good guys. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the billionaires. You know, all the meantime, they own the politicians, and the politicians give them money and bailouts and incentives, and they're lobbyists. You know what lobby is? In other countries, we call that corruption. Here in the United States, they call it lobbying. A lobbyist, and they they give money to politicians. Oh, we'll donate to your campaign. So there was this thing called Citizens United versus FEC. That happened also. It was like 2008 or 9 or something, or 10. It was under Obama. It came through. And our Supreme Court said, sure, it's totally okay for any corporation, any billionaire from anywhere around the world, any country, no limits, to give any amount of money they want to. No limits. Anybody, any politician can get any amount of money from any billionaire or any corporation. Unlimited. But you or myself can't. We can only give $3,750 to any political candidate. So do you think the candidates care about us? They care about the billionaires. What do you guys want? So has anybody read this bailout that was supposedly $2 trillion? It wasn't $2 trillion. It was $6 trillion. The guy in charge of it, $6 trillion. And the day after they signed it into law, $6 trillion, they fired the police guy that was going to keep track of it all. Has anybody read that? It's an insane piece of data. And our news media, owned by the billionaires, don't want you to know what's really in it. Here's what's in it. This is off the top of my head. So this is going to be just a handful of estimates. But you can look up the data. It's sick. $25 million for cleaning supplies for the Capitol building. Yeah, let's round it up to the nearest $25 million for cleaning supplies for the one building. Oof. I mean, I could see 1 million being crazy money, but 25 million? Then they've got $25 million set aside. I think it's for Senate, for wage increase and to cover salaries. What are they out of work for a month? And so they need $25 million? That's in there. But get this, Congress has 1.27, I think, 1.2 something billion, as in B. That's 1,270 roughly $1 million for miscellaneous expenses. We don't even, that's just petty cash. Like, what are you thinking, right? Petty cash, $1.2 billion. Now check this out. You know, how support our veterans. Support the veterans. We didn't give money to the VA. We gave $3 billion, as in B, the big ones, $3,000 million, not to the VA, but to the IT department at the VA. Come on. They need computers at the VA, but they don't need to help the people, the veterans. Like, if you were to take the quantity of veterans in the United States that are alive right now, and you just take the $3 billion and chop it up into the quantity of veterans, I'm sure each one of those veterans would love $100,000, $200,000, or $1 million a piece. I'm sure they would. That's $3,000 million. $3 billion. And that's for the IT department. That's for some new computers. Yeah, get some Bill Gates computers. It's like, and are the computers made in the United States? Like, come on. What's made in the United States anymore? Guns, bombs, and debt. We're a service industry. Okay, whatever that is. So also in there, they gave, I think, $37 million to a performing arts, the JFK Performing Arts Center. But you get $1,200 if you're a good boy and girl. So how about that? if you're a good boy and girl, 1,000. Yeah, but you got to fill out paperwork and you got to fill out electronic banking. So here's what this whole thing was, and it's underlying it all. If you really look into it, what do they want? A cashless society. Because if there's a cashless society, what happens? You've got all your money tied to your phone, right? Wherever my phone is. You got all your money on your phone. And you pay, beep, beep. This is what everybody's doing now. Beep, beep. Well, if you don't pay your taxes and the IRS has access to your banking, what do? Empty out your bank. Then what happens? You're homeless again. People are like, oh, homeless people, they deserve it. No, man. I live in LA. I could walk you 2 blocks that way, and it's Venice Boulevard. And it's sad because a lot of these people were you and I just 4 months ago. They had jobs and they're living in the car now. They're sleeping right by the beach in their car. They're sleeping along Venice Boulevard or in these tents. There's some amazing camping tents, amazing setups people have that are along the side of Venice Boulevard. And Venice goes the whole way to Venice Beach and the whole way in downtown. And it's sad. I mean, it's really sad that we, as a society, are okay and judge ourselves. Oh, the United States is the richest country in the world. We judge ourselves by how many billionaires we can create. How many homeless people does it take to create a billionaire? That's what I want to know. How many homeless people does it take to create one billionaire? And these bailouts, I mean, just look them up. The bailouts that have happened, and they just 6 trillion. These bailouts, who's it go to? The richest few. Who owns the media? The richest few. Who owns our food system? The richest few. Who owns our drug system? The richest few. Who owns the corporations for the food and drug? Who owns it's a handful of players. And if you really follow the money, literally, it's a small club. They call it an oligarchy. So we should judge our country not on how many billionaires we create, but how we treat those who are most in need. So if there's some homeless person that was just like me 2 or 4 months ago, why should I look down on him? Why shouldn't I help him up? I mean, what's wrong with our society that we just walk past needy people? What's wrong? And billionaires need more toilet paper? They need more money? When they've got so much that literally their family could spend as much money as they possibly could for 1,000 years and they still couldn't spend it all. Yeah, what are you doing hoarding all this? It's sad. It's a sick society we're in. And all of this is getting exposed. Our food system. Who ever thought it was a great idea to dump poisons onto our food? To put poisons on our food? And then that would be a good idea. And then it'll just wash off? No. What's the water have in it? Poisons too. Fluoride? What's that do to your pineal gland? Chlorine? Come on. And then all the other microtoxins that are in all that? There's a filter for that. No, there isn't. Not at that level. And so we're destroying everything. The soil is being eroded by that same pesticides, the same oil. We're going to put oil on the soil, and it's stupid. And then where's the runoff go? Oh, in the river. What happens to the fish it's insane. So our food system is screwed up. Our drug system's screwed up. Same people. Bayer and Monsanto came together. Oh, Monsanto, look that one up if you don't know. It was voted for years as the most evil company on the planet, making pesticides and nasty stuff. So what they call conventional now. Here's where, they once again, the billionaires owning the government passed these laws. So our food used to be clean, organic food. And when you put pesticides on it, it was bad, right? Well, now they made it so that when you put pesticides in the food, that's called conventional food. Conventional food. Every, like 99, 95, I'm guessing, percent of all the food at most normal grocery stores or restaurants is crap. It's got pesticides all over it. And those pesticides are proven to cause cancer, to cause digestive issues, irritable bowel syndrome, cause inflammation, neurodegenerative disorders, and so on. You just look that one up. You know, I don't need to get into all the details, but look it up. Do your research. You got some time now. And that's what I'm asking you. Like, get going, you know, on this. I mean, I can sit here and bitch, but the truth of the matter, you gotta question everything. So organic food became that the only way you can have organic food is to label it organic. Is the organic grower has to pay money and prove that they're organic. Instead of charging the pesticide people money to pollute our food, we're charging the organic people to prove. So the organic has to pay more money, so the cost goes up. Believe it or not, the cost of water for the organic stuff is actually better. Better for your health, better for less water. We've got incredible growing techniques now that if you look up hydroponics and other things, I mean, it's amazing what people can do in growing. And why we aren't growing those foods in the neighborhood. Why we don't have, you know, like Detroit. You got empty lots everywhere. Why doesn't the city or state take those empty lots and put people to work growing food for the whole neighborhood? That's free. That's free. And everybody shares or whatever else. There's a guy named Will Allen, growingpower.com. Will Allen, look him up. He was able to do it in Minneapolis or Michigan, I think Minneapolis. He was able to grow in the middle of winter, no electricity, grow food. In dead of winter, cold, 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 snow all over the ground, growing food in little plastic-covered greenhouses and doing it, you know, like for millions of people. So there's solutions to all these problems. But the problems are ignorance, greed, fears, and powers of old. Ignorance, greed, fears, powers of old. And where does it come from? The billionaires, the corporations. Ignorance. They keep you dumb by owning the media, you know? Oh, well, the TV told me that it's is bad. Organic's not all that much better for you. Well, yeah, look it up. Ask any doctor. Would he rather have organic or something slathered with Monsanto's glyphosate? You know, which choose one. Well, do it with corn. Go buy an ear of corn that's organic and an ear of corn that's just, you know, the regular crap, and stick it out for the squirrels and see which one the squirrels choose. Try that one. You know, I mean, you'll be amazed. We have birds out here, and we feed organic seeds to. And we'll go from one store to another store and get organic seeds at another store that's a little cheaper. Here's what they do. Even though they're organic, they spray the inside of the container with that same Roundup crap. And that little bit of Roundup that's in that container pollutes the seeds. And we give those seeds that are supposedly organic to the birds. They won't eat them. And they were a few cents cheaper at a different store. And they both said organic on them. It's like, whoo, the birds know. The squirrels know. And we're stupid, right? So how do you overcome ignorance, greed, fears, and powers of old? You do it with love. You do it by educating yourself. You do it by the fear. The opposite of fear is love. You know, and knowing that every problem is an opportunity to learn and grow. Well, we got a lot of problems going on. So there's a lot of opportunity for all of us to learn and grow. And we all have a little bit of time right now to look in. Like, let's start questioning some of these things. Let's start questioning what you believe. So I say doubt everything, including yourself. All that crap in your head, all that stuff that you've been parroting for 20 years, 30 years. Oh, this is the way it was in the 1980s or 1990s or whatever. Or this is the way it always is. No. So the Buckminster Fuller quote was that we have the ability to really raise our frequency and step up to change things, and it's like we must do that. So I got another one to read for you, and it's this beautiful thing by some Hopi Indians. This is supposedly Hopi elders from the Hopi tribe. And if you've ever heard, "We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for." Have you ever heard that? Well, it came from supposedly the Hopi tribe and some elders and whatever. And it might be this writing that it came from. I don't know. But so I haven't, confirmed where this is from, but it's a beautiful writing no matter who wrote it and when it happened. And to me, it feels like this is relevant to now, really big. Because for the first time in our society, most of us have had to go inward. We can't go outside, so we have to go inside. And we've had to actually step up and figure some stuff out. And so give me a second here. So we are the ones we've been waiting for is how it's going to end. But they said, "You've been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation, including with yourself? Where is your water?" Water's life, by the way. "Know your garden." Have you planted your garden lately? And I don't mean just only the food garden, all the gardens in your life. Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside of yourself for your leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time." That's where we're at now. This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast as the energy on the planet rises. There's a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore into that place that they've always been accustomed. This is the way things have always been done, so that we have to stay here. Well, the river's flowing and it's rising, and they'll feel that they're being torn apart, and they will suffer greatly because they're trying to hold on to that spot. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say, we must let go of the shore. We must push off into the middle of the river and keep your eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. And this is a time. So that was it. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And this is the time for all of this. You can feel it. You can feel that all these systems are breaking down on the planet, that things don't feel right. They don't feel right. And part of this evolution in consciousness is exactly what I just said, thinking to feeling. It's a shift from mind and ego and I know everything and this is the way it always happened. That's the old paradigm, mind, ego, masculine, force. Make it happen. I have all the money. I win. No. Darwin's version of the survival of the fittest did not, if you really read that, if you fully understand that, he only talked about that competition a couple times. What he talked about is love. Dozens of times. Talked about love and compassion and community and communication and ethics. And so ethics, morals come from the head. Ethics come from the heart. What? Morals are things like, here, take this gun and go shoot the neighbor because they're different religion or they're different skin. Go shoot them. Or go to this other country and shoot them because they're the bad guys. And I can tell you they're the bad guys. You have no proof of it. And yet you're going to go follow out because it's morally told to you that's the way things are. Well, of course. Well, if I gave you a gun and said, go kill the neighbor, you can feel it in your body. Like, what are you talking about? You can feel your body clenches up. No, take the gun back. You can feel it. It's wrong. Ethics are the feeling. They're the heart center. Morals are the head. We've been running for 2,000 years or more on this ego masculine mind, this Piscean judgment. I'm good, you're bad. 2,000 years. Jesus said, don't judge, yet we judged every frickin' day and led to war. The United States has been at war all but like 10 years out of 245 years or whatever, 44 years. 10 years of peace, that's it? Or 20 or whatever it is, it's not many. Look that one up, please. It's pitiful. And when you look it up, you'll realize that very few years even close to now. 1976 through 1980, we had peace for 4 years. We had a president that everybody makes fun of. He's still alive. He's a great man. And after he stopped being president, he didn't collect money from banks. He's a poor guy. He's got a few $100,000. That's it. He spends all of his days every day, even now, trying to help people. And Jimmy Carter, look him up. He and his wife Rosalind. Yeah, and look up that he stood for peace. And part of that propaganda thing is they made him out to be, the peace was a bad idea, and that Reagan was the war guy, and he came in and kicked butt. Well, here's what happened. Iranian crisis. They released the hostages the day Reagan got into office. And you know who got them back? This is a great one. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali went over there. And who he took with him? Oh, who he got out? Who they were being held hostage? Was a Native American Indian chief named Chief Arvil Looking Horse. And his thing is the World Peace Pipe. It's the White Buffalo Peace Pipe. And it's about peace. And he was over there promoting peace. Of course, if you promote peace, they'll shoot you. It's just the way of the world, So we got to promote war, right? So anyway, if you just rewind in history, I mean, even our politics, all of our politics, we've got an obviously bad choice to be a president, and then an even worse one. It's like, look at him. Look at some of the guys that they've run over the years, and they're often from the same colleges or same skull and crossbones, millionaires, blah blah blah, families. It's just so weird. Just look into it, question everything, and start looking into it. Look at the races. When we have politics, we have like 49 to 51%. If these guys just barely won by a hanging chad, ask what a hanging chad is. In the in It was year 2000, and it was George Bush, and he won the presidency because in the state that his brother was the governor in, they counted the votes and it came down to like 20 votes, and they had hole punches or something, and some of them had these little hole punches hanging from them, and it was hanging chad is what they called it. And whether that counted or not, it wasn't punched through the whole way. And so it ended up being that he won by a handful of votes, and it infuriated. So these guys were mad at these guys because they won by 12 votes or 22 votes or whatever. I don't know what. It wasn't much. But then they do it again 4 years later. Oh, and here's a bad guy and here's a worse guy. And which you're going to pick? Well, the lesser of two evils. And we keep doing the lesser of two evils, and we end up with evil. Most of our presidents for the last 30 years, I would rather that they would not even run my middle school, much less my country or the free world. I mean, most of them seem like incompetent old men making choices for the future of humanity with no version of future of humanity. A lot of them can't use a cell phone well, can't do a computer well. They have no idea what, it's just pitiful. Like our entire system right now, they're still dealing with faxing. Fax me something. Like, wasn't that the 1980s? You know? So everybody's going to get this bailout check for $1,200. I bet you if we faxed in our information, we can get our information quicker. It's like we're based on these archaic systems, you know? It's pitiful. So the evolution of consciousness has to happen by us unifying, by us having new ways. Instead of hating each other, argue, blame, and complain with each other, we have to look up. Who's really controlling this monkey scene here? Who's got the money? If you follow the money, you'll probably find out it's pretty obvious that we're being duped in so many ways. And if we were playing Monopoly, if all 10 million people that are watching this, or 10 people that are watching this, we're over at my house around a Monopoly board, and we're all playing Monopoly, and suddenly one of us has all the money, well, at some point, somebody at the board's going to just flip the whole board upside down and go, let's play again, right? Let's wipe this clean and start over. And it could be somehow that's what's going to happen. Money itself, fractional reserve banking, look it up. The Ponzi schemes. Look at your money. I don't have my wallet here, but look at your money. It says Federal Reserve note. Look that one up. Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express. They aren't a U.S. company. So our money is printed by a handful of families that take on the debt of the United States. Well, guess what? There are owners. There's so many weird things. And that's conspiracy theory. No, look it up. Look it up. Try to understand it, and question everything, because you weren't taught fully functioning things like, Columbus discovered America and Turkey on Thanksgiving, and where'd Columbus land? And it was the Bahamas or something, it's like, come on. Like the whole thing is so weird, So how we overcome it? Love. So where's the love start? Actually, I have 5 things that overcome ignorance, greed, fears, and the powers of old. What overcomes them to me isn't just love. It's joy, it's innocence, it's fearlessness, it's gratitude. Love, joy, innocence, fearlessness, gratitude. Here's what they are. Love. Unconditional love starts right here. If I don't love myself, and I don't mean like I'm better than you, you suck. No, that's judgment. That's not unconditional love. Unconditional love is no conditions on love. You punched me in the face and I was like, whoa, 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 what's going on with you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because for you to get that angry to punch me in the face, there must be something wrong. You know, can I help you? Is there something wrong? Wow. When we start doing that, I mean, we do that right now with countries. We bomb countries because they might have a bomb. You know, we hit them and say, don't hit. You know, we judge people. We hate people just out of habit. This is the way things are. No, it's not. We have to change that pattern, and we can change that pattern. So love starts unconditional right here. And once I start to love myself and see that, like, okay, I'm getting gray and getting older and wrinkles and whatever else, and yeah, but I'm also getting smarter and wiser and braver. I've got less to lose. I'm okay. You know, I'm fine. I'm happy. So once I start to realize that this works better as a happy being, as a whole being, liking myself, then I can start loving other people. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. So if you have someone that you're trying to love and they hate themselves, the real trick is before they love you back, they've got to love themselves. And you've got to help them love themselves. So when you find there's someone angry, pissed off, greedy, oh, I need more money, I'm a billionaire, I need more money. They actually need some love. They need love because they're not given love. They're having problems. So love, we gotta look at love. Love's not just a 4 little words sitting out there and there's one type. There's many types. If you look up the Greek version of love, I think there's 7 different versions of love, types of love for Greeks. You know, we have many levels of murder, but only one level of love mostly. But here's look up Greek. Philo is one. Agape is another one. But basically, love yourself. Then there's friendship love, family love, love of community or town, and love of all. And anyway, look that up. At some point, you start. It starts here and it works its way out. At some point, you start to see that every problem is an opportunity to learn and grow. There's nothing to hate. There's nothing to fight. There's nothing to fear. And when there's nothing to fight or fear or hate, what you're left with is love. And see the big smile? It's contagious. If I smile, you smile. It's contagious. It just goes forward. So what I invite you to do is share the love. Be the, be the love you want to get. So in physics, they say for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And in spirituality, they say, do unto others as you would have done to you. Same thing. That if you want love, you give love. If you want joy, you give joy. If you want hate, you give hate. If you start arguing with someone, they'll argue back, right? Well, next time you're argued against, maybe try the love thing. Try to listen and understand. And once they're heard, maybe they'll calm down and maybe they'll see your side. I don't know. These are all new patterns that we're all as humanity have to break the old ones. Oh, this is the old way. Well, the old way is not working. This is part of the evolution of consciousness. We have to break the patterns. We have to create the new ones. So love. Joy was the other one. There's the next one. Love, joy, innocence, fearlessness, and gratitude. So joy comes by giving joy, that we just said. So if I give you joy, you give me joy, you know? And so that's the give and take. So unconditional love, joy, back and forth, or whatever you desire. If you know, if you want to be wanted, you actually, you know, just give, care. You know, they say when people are depressed, they need to serve. Find someone to serve. Bob Dylan said, you got to serve somebody, you know, and I fully understand. Like, if you start to help people and serve them, you start to, like, if I go out and help the homeless people, which I do often, I see in their eyes, I try to connect to them, and I see in their eyes, they really needed they needed a leg up. I've heard stories where you know, somebody was ready to kill themselves, and someone came over and helped them, and not that they were going to jump off a bridge. They were just like contemplating. They were hungry and homeless and done. Someone came by and randomly just gave them $5 and then talked to them, and they said, "Wow, you just saved my life. I was contemplating killing myself right now." You know, and so you don't know who you're the angel for, you know, at all times. So you can be an angel. You can go through life being an angel, helping others. You don't have to always look at me, me, me. And so this evolution of consciousness is from this ego mind me, worried about me and what I'm doing, to this we, to how can I be part of this community? How can I do what's right for all of us? How can I help? All right, so love, joy. The next one is I call innocence. And innocence to me isn't just like, oh, I'm a little kid, I'm innocent. No, innocence to me is open-mindedness. It's having a mind that's open and eyes that are open that can see others and positive, the optimism. That's all open-minded. That's the innocence to me. You remember being a kid and the first time whoa, a roller coaster, woo, that's so fun, I want to do it again, woo. And yet we do, you know, after you've been on 10 roller coasters, I've been on roller coasters, I don't want to be on that again. It's like, you lost your joy for it, you know? So innocence, I mean, they say with Dalai Lama, he's got a mind that's wide open. He's ready to learn from anybody, from the dog, from the children, from the parents, from anybody, from the peasants, from the politicians. Anybody can teach him a lesson. And when you're open like that, you're ready to learn. You're ready to learn. So listen to everybody and look at everything. I learn lessons from the plants, from the animals. You know, I'm growing butterflies right on the other side of this wall right here. There's a bunch of butterflies right there. I'm taking video and photos of them every day. It's pretty cool. So soon you'll be seeing some butterfly videos. So love, joy, innocence, or open-mindedness, or positive, you know, attitude. Fearlessness is the next one. Fearlessness. What is fearlessness? Oh, I'm so strong and tough and, you know, no one can mess with me. I'm not afraid of anybody. No. That's not fearlessness. It's realizing that every problem we have is really an opportunity to learn and grow. Every problem is an opportunity. So this is a great time to learn and grow. This is a lot of problems. A lot of things are failing right now. And they're like forcing small businesses to die. It's crazy. And yet corporations can stay open. When this is over with, I don't think I'm going to be buying Amazon very much. I don't think I'm going to be shopping at the normal places. I'm taking my money and going to all the small businesses. I'm helping out the little guys. They're the ones that help out your school system. They're the ones that support your little league team and buy the uniforms and the basketball team and put their name on the sign out at the little league you know, thing and support. Like, come on, we need that. You know, we don't need Jeff Bezos to make another $35 billion today or something. I don't know what it was. Crazy. I don't know. It's insane how much money that one person has every day. More money. So fearlessness is knowing that every problem is an opportunity to learn and grow. And so we need to go, oh, a problem. What can I do to learn and grow? Where's the opportunity here? and not be in fear. So you have two choices with fear. You can either play dead like a pill bug or like a armadillo and just go in your shell and hope he doesn't eat me, right? Or a turtle. Or you can step up and, like with a bear, you can scare him away. Now, have you ever had a dog trying to attack you and you start to run? What's the dog do? It chases you. But if you stand up to the dog and go, whatever, stand up, really get big again, the dog will back down. So fear, you've got two choices. Play dead and run, or stand up. And so fear, there's nothing to be afraid of. You stand up and let's get big. This is an opportunity to get big. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? How can you reinvent yourself? How can we do a better job of helping all of our community and service? I don't know. These are great questions. So the last one, love, joy, innocence, fearlessness, and gratitude. Okay. This is our last one, gratitude. Gratitude's awesome. Your brain thinks usually like 80,000 thoughts or something every day, or, there's some number, a lot of thoughts every day. And most of those, like 98% of them, are the same thoughts you had yesterday. My car, my house, my job, I hate them, I love them, go. And you stay in this rut. And Einstein said, repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. And if you feel a little insane, you've been running the same patterns. So to break that insanity, you got to think differently, right? So your brain can only think of one thing at a time. One thing at a time. It's either yum or yuck, positive or negative. Yum, yuck, yum, yuck, yum, yuck. So when you're happy and you're positive, you can't think of the negative all at the same time. You have to bounce back and forth. So what happens is, in gratitude, you're thankful for all the things that make you happy. So when you're gratitude and you're smiling and you're happy, I'm thankful that I got water. I'm thankful I have toilet paper. I'm thankful I have food. I have a community. I feel secure. I mean, most people on this planet make less than $2 a day. $2. Most, like over half the world makes less than $2 a day. They got to go like 5 miles to get water, like a couple jugs of water every day, or they die. So we've got a running tap of water. We poop in more water every day than most people. And like from other countries, it's like, what are you doing? This is crazy. Water's life. So there's a lot to be thankful for. Water, toilet paper, security, communication, a little time, a little free time, some silence, or a deeper connection. So when you're grateful, you can't also be the opposite. When you're full of love, you can't be full of hate, right? So you get to choose one at every second, every breath. Which one are you doing? Which one are you thinking? What's the pattern? Is your pattern, I hate myself, I'm angry, I'm going to take advantage of them before they take advantage of me? Well, if that's your pattern, it's not working. It doesn't work. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is a win-win-win situation that everybody. So the new paradigm, instead of one person up there talking and everybody out here in the congregation staring at the one leader, it's instead a circle. It includes everybody. And we're all in a circle. And everybody sees each other from the same point of view. And we're all equals. And we're all looking at each other. You can see everybody in the whole circle. This is the new paradigm. This is feminine attributes. This is love, right? So we're all in this circle. Beautiful circle, and everybody gets to share with each other. Everybody gets a talking stick. This is Native American way, the grandmother circles. You get a talking stick, and whoever's got the talking stick gets to tell their story. And then it goes to the next person, and the next person, and it goes the whole way around the circle. And everyone's heard. And whatever you're talking about, if you're discussing whether or not we build the dam or whether we do this in society or whatever, everyone has a voice. And once we come to unanimity, after everybody's heard, and after you actually listen to everybody speak their truth from a place of love, you can usually make a compromise and come to unanimity in a way that's truly democratic, that helps all people, not just the few billionaires. There's this thing called Ubuntu, Ubuntu, UMBUNTU. It's like a African tribe thing where they had a film crew, and they had all these native kids, and they had a big thing of candy, and they put the candy over on the tree, and they put a little line in the dirt, and they made all the kids line up on the thing. And they said, the first one that makes it over to the tree gets all the candy. You know, we're going to have a race. Go. And all the kids held hands and took their time skipping and walking over to the tree. And then they all shared the candy as a group. And one of the film guys says, like, why didn't you, why didn't you go race ahead and get all the candy for yourself? I said, well, what good would that be? If I had all the candy and everybody else had none, that wouldn't work out for anybody. They'd all be mad at me. They'd all be upset. They'd all be without. Instead, everybody's happy. We're all happy. And that's part of this new society. We have to all be happy. It's not working. The billionaires own the media. They own the news channels. They own our government, both sides of the government. They made it legal to lie. They've made it legal to give themselves bailouts. They shut down all the little guys. Come on. I'm not sure how much truth is out there, but you can feel it. So part of this evolution of consciousness is out of the head, getting out of the head. I think we should do things. I think we should do this. Get into the feeling, the heart space. What do you feel is right? What do you feel is right? Not what do you think is right. What do you feel? You can feel what's right and wrong. You just listen. In any country, you can hear the politician, and you can hear it in his voice. What's going on in his voice? If he's lying, you can see it in his eyes, where he's looking and whatever. He's making it up, or what's going on. You can feel it in his heart. You don't have to know their language, but just watch the body language of. It's so weird, and no one's awake to look at it or care. Now we've had a month. We've got time. Look inside. Question everything. Question yourself. Love yourself. Have joy. Share a smile with everybody. Get it back. Have no fear. Know that all these problems are going to it's just an opportunity for us to all unify and come together and do something right. And let's have gratitude for everything we got. Everything. Love, joy, innocence, gratitude. And fearlessness, no fear, So I'm Brian David Hardin. I have a thing called KnewWays.com. I've got a YouTube channel called KnewWays, spelled with a K, KNEWWAYS. I often talk about the evolution of consciousness, and I've been doing it for years. And I've been doing a similar spiel to this for years. And it's now time. So I'm really happy. I'm actually really relieved. I feel like what I was waiting for in 2012, it's finally sort of happening. My astrologer friends back in leading up to 2012 said, 2012 is no big deal. It's 2020 because they did the astrology and they know that the energy of the planets and the energy of the solar system, everything is kind of changing frequency. And it's offering a time for us to reflect on energy in a different way. So we're ripe. I really, really hope you look inside yourself and you see a whole new version of yourself now and see what brings you joy and your community joy. And you can start being of service to everybody and yourself and grow and break those old patterns. I'm doing it. So I've not been successful yet with my big, I'm going to do push-ups every day and get big arms. I have little weeny arms and a little weeny chest. So I'm working on that. That's one of my patterns I've got to break. So you'll see hopefully a tiny bit better version of myself, but certainly a healthier version. I'm going to challenge myself physically, mentally, and spiritually every day. I'm going to pray more, meditate more, exercise more, read more, write more, create more, share more, laugh more, love more. Okay? So I love you. I love myself. I love everybody and everything, even the problems, because they're just teaching me lessons. Okay? KnewWays.com, Brian David Hardin. Thanks so much for